On July 4th, Japan restricted the sale to South Korea three high-tech materials crucial for the production of semiconductors and displays. And then a month later, on August 2nd, Tokyo decided to remove Seoul from its white list of preferred trading partners, pushing its diplomatic relations with South Korea to the lowest point in more than half a century. Japan cites national security concerns to justify its export controls, but Seoul regards the measures as retaliation against South Korean court rulings ordering Japanese firms to compensate victims of Japan's wartime forced labor here in the country. There are several possible reasons cited by experts in Seoul as to why Abe is being so tough on South Korea. The general consensus is Abe's actions are politically motivated based on a strategic calculation. He's trying to rally his conservative base by taking a firm and confrontational stance on historical issues with South Korea. The Japanese government hasn't given any clear explanation as to how exports of key strategic materials to Seoul could threaten its national security. That's why their claims are denounced as groundless by South Koreans. There are even Japanese economists and businesses that think Tokyo has nothing to gain by shaking the economic cooperation mechanism in the region. But according to pundits, it appears that there's nothing better than historical issues that Abe could use as a driving force to maintain his grip on power and in turn push ahead with his long-held dream of revising the country's pacifist constitution. With the revision, Abe aims to make Japan a normal country within his term by possessing a legitimized military and ending a ban that has kept its armed forces from fighting abroad, and to create a quote-unquote beautiful country, as he pledged in his book entering his first term as Prime Minister in 2006. Abe wants to put an end to the historical disputes with Seoul once and for all. The Japanese Prime Minister might also be aiming to stay relevant and more involved with diplomacy surrounding the Korean Peninsula, using these economic means as leverage against South Korea. It could be Abe's long-term diplomatic strategy to maximize Japan's national interests in the region. The key and first step to solving the current tensions seems to be narrowing differences on the issue of wartime forced labor, because that's where the latest flare-up stems from. But with public sentiment so important for both governments, it seems highly unlikely the two sides will be willing to make any meaningful diplomatic concessions. Many say a summit between the leaders could help start dialogue between the two sides, but it was Tokyo that rejected Seoul's request for summit talks.